Hello and welcome back. We're continuing our work on Unit 4, our one-point perspective room project. Today's lesson is 4.09. We're going to continue to draw and we're going to add a dresser to our composition. So we're going to start by opening up our project. We're going to start drawing and erasing lines to create our dresser. When we're all done, we'll save our project and we'll take a screenshot for the day. So let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to get out to my desktop. I'm going to go to my File Explorer. I'm going to go to my digital art folder, find my one-point perspective room folder, find my project, and I'm going to right-click, open with, and tell it to open with paint. All right, now this looks pretty familiar. We're going to go ahead and continue our work in drawing. We needed to decide in our room where we might want to put a dresser. I think over here on this left wall might be a nice place to put a dresser. So I'm going to grab my rectangle tool. I'm going to make sure it is a solid outline, and I'm going to make sure it's 1 pixel wide. That 1 pixel wide is the tricky one all the time. It doesn't do that, it doesn't keep it by default. So I'm going to start down here on the floor because my dresser should sit on the floor. It should sit close to the back wall, but maybe not on the back wall. And I'm going to draw the left side of my dresser. You can draw really like do an armoire or a short dresser or a desk kind of dresser. Whatever you want to do. I think I'm going to do more of a chest of drawers, something like that tall. So I drew the left side. Now that I have the left side, I'm going to click off of that to set that rectangle. And we're just going to draw a rectangular prism. So we've done this before. So the top edge of my box is going to go back. Let me undo that. We're going to start at the vanishing point and draw to the top corner of that box. It's much easier that way. That's the top edge. And I'm going to go back to the vanishing point and draw the top left edge. Now notice we're not seeing much of the top of that dresser because it's close to what would be the horizon line, and so it's going to be much smaller there. All right, that's pretty good. We're going to do the bottom edge of our dresser here as well. Okay, so I have those 3 lines. I'm going to go back now and we're going to close off this dresser, and then we'll do a bunch of cleanup all at once. So with my line tool, I'm going to come back here to the back edge. Again, it should be away from the wall just a little bit. And because the front of the dresser is perfectly straight, this front edge there, I'm going to start right here, back away from it, and I'm going to draw a perfectly straight line up to the top. Okay, now this next one's going to get a little tricky, so I am going to zoom in. The front of the dresser top is perfectly horizontal and straight. So where this line intersects here on the top of the dresser, I'm going to click at that intersection that I just created. I'm going to hold the shift button and draw a line straight back. I'm a little high and I did overextend it on purpose. I'm going to drop that line down just a little bit. Yeah, 1 pixel down just right there. And I'm going to set that line. Okay, now I've got to clean up. So I'm going to grab my eraser tool. I'm going to zoom in again because I need to get close here. And the craziest part about this is that this overextended line creates 2 pixels here, a layer of 2 pixels. So I'm going to just jump back a little bit closer. Too close there. I erased too much. Control Z. I did it again. Let's see here. I can get just 1 pixel. There we go. All right, so there's that. You almost lose the entire corner. It's kind of funky. And then I'm going to erase this line here because, again, that line should be perfectly straight. And that extra pixel there needs to go away like that and all the way out. On this end, I'm going to erase the extensions beyond the shape. And again, that was a little tricky only because my dresser is so high. If you make it shorter, you'll see a little bit more of it, and that would be a little bit easier to clean up. I'm going to go ahead and zoom or make my eraser tool smaller so I can get that line inside there. And then beyond, inside my rectangular prism, I can go a little bigger now. I can erase all these lines that are inside my box that will be my dresser. Now the other thing to remember is this floor line. I'm going to get right here. This is all gone. This gone. There we go. There's a little triangle piece right here that's part of the bottom of the dresser that's not part of the floor. So I need to erase that little triangle and then carefully inside my vanishing or inside my baseboard there, I'm going to erase that and going back to the vanishing point. All right, I'm going to slide over and I'm going to do the same thing here in the left side of the dresser. We don't want baseboard in that dresser. And we don't want floor lines in that dresser inside. That looks good. And I do have an extension up here. I'll grab that too. All right, let me zoom out and take a look at our placement. Looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. I can erase some of this messiness around my vanishing point. Clean that up. That looks better. Okay, now a very basic dresser should have some drawers. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see the face of the dresser and my vanishing point. Grab my single line and I'm going to start at the vanishing point and I'm going to draw down. Now, how deep should that drawer be? You can decide. And then I'm going to go back to the vanishing point and draw another one. And then I'm going to go back to the vanishing point and draw another one. These can be different sizes, different widths. You decide. Maybe that bottom drawer is going to be a little bit wider, something like that. And I can erase the lines beyond my dresser, going back to my vanishing point. I could stop there and I could say, wow, that dresser looks pretty good. I could grab my brush tool, make my brush a little bigger, and I could put in knobs on my brush, on my dresser. Okay, or we can take it further. So let's say we want to make these dressers have drawer faces instead of being just like the entire front is the drawer. And so we want kind of like trim around them. So I just need a lot more lines. I'm going to start at the vanishing point, put in a top, put in a top. That one's a little bit thin. I'm going to go a little deeper. Okay. And then we also, I will need a bottom line on this one. All right, fabulous. At that point, I'm going to draw a perfectly straight trim line on the left and a perfectly straight trim line on the right. Now that one got a little bit wide, so let me use my keys on my keyboard. There we go. I like that better. If you wanted to divide another drawer, you could put a division line in as well. Something like that. And then you just have to go in and erase. Now, this is starting to get really detailed. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with that eraser tool and I'll go beyond my dresser and get rid of these lines going back to the vanishing point and through my baseboard here. And I could make my eraser tool smaller and get some of this detail. But there's another tool I can use too. So I can use the pencil tool. And if you notice that I have color 1 and color 2 here, color 2 is the right click on my mouse. So I'm just going to come in and use color 2, which is actually white, which in this program is the absence of color and is like an eraser. So when I need to do really fine detail work, I'm going to go into like 800% and I can use my pencil to erase those pixels one by one and clean up in between this trim. So again, you don't have to do this much detail in your dresser, but if you want to take your project a little further, if I erase too much, I can use my pencil tool and just put a pixel back in where it belongs. That's the another advantage to using the pencil tool is I can go back and forth with drawing one pixel, but you're literally drawing or painting one pixel at a time when you're using this. So I'm using my right to do the white. If I take out too much with the white, I can use my left click to put that pixel back in. And just do this until you have cleaned up all of those extra stray pixels, 1 pixel at a time, because we know in this drawing every pixel counts. And so we just have to be patient and clean up all of those pixels. I'm almost done. Down here, it looks like I'm missing one, so I'll put one in and take one out there. And then I'll zoom back out and just take a look. Looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that dresser in my room there. So at this point, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to go File, Save my project. Love the way that's starting to look. And then I'm going to also do a quick screenshot here. So Windows Shift S, take a screenshot of my progress for the day. And when that progress photo opens, I'm going to go ahead and save that screenshot. I will go to Documents, click on Digital Art, click on my screenshots. And then I'm going to go ahead and put 4.09 as my lesson. And this was a dresser. And I'll hit save. Well, I hope you enjoyed that step of the project. Again, if you have any questions or concerns about this step, please reach out and let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the process.